ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to another episode of Farming Simulator 19 here on the old family farm with Delores Flofflebotham. It is a lovely, beautiful morning here at the farm. It's not raining today, which is good. In the last video, just a quick recap for anyone who hadn't watched it, although I suggest you go and watch it. We did harvest all our fields. All our fields are harvested. The corn and the wheat, which nearly withered. By the time we'd harvested that, the other fields also needed harvesting. So we did those. All the fields now, sadly, require ploughing, liming, some need weeding. Although I think the ones I ploughed, I got 3 fields ploughed yesterday. Unfortunately, daylight departed and it got to 9:30 at night when I finished the 3 fields in this area. So we still have 2 to do. Still have 2 fields to plough. So that is how we're going to start off our day today. We are then going to go to the store and invest in a spreader, fertiliser spreader, for the sole purpose of doing lime. That is right, kids, we're going to be doing lime, and I need to go this way. I'm not going to need the herbicide for the moment. So we're going to get the fields all lime spreaded today. And then we'll need to cultivate and seed. Right, so we're basically going to be ploughing. Not the most riveting and exciting work in the world, but it is greatly needed. This 4 metre plough seems to do a very, very good job of ploughing. Just do the headlands. I did the other fields a little bit different in that I kind of went up and down, 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 and then once I'd done the whole field like that, I just went basically and did a quick pass along the top and bottom edges of the fields, just to make sure, you know, because again, where we was some of the fields where you're lifting up, dropping the tool down, you could miss little bits and pieces depending on where you was doing it. So yes, here we go. So that's the plan of action for today for the poor little Delores. Get these 2 fields ploughed as quickly as you can. Then we'll go to the store, buy our spreader, and we'll get some lime put down. It'll be good. Probably going to have to use the voucher for that. Possibly. Or we might get away with a case, thinking about it. Because if we're lime spreading, it doesn't really matter too much about what tyres we've got fitted, does it? Because we've got no crops. The case is slightly bigger, slightly heavier. Probably a good thing. Because once we get that spreader equipped and fitted and filled with lime, could potentially tip a little tractor. Certainly the Fiat wouldn't be able, this wouldn't be able to do the spreading. because as soon as you get the spreader on the back and get it filled, it just tips backwards. I probably didn't need to do headlands on this field because we actually do have a bit more room before we hit the grass, the hedgerow. One of the things I was tempted to do last night in game, not last night in real world, but certainly in game. Once I'd finished ploughing the 3 fields down the down sort of that end of the farm, I did think about having a quick bit of a play about and a quick test to see if this plough would, if used on create field mode, or you know, create field options, would effectively remove the hedges in between the fields. I wanted to test to see if we could, using this plough, would remove the hedges. If it does, then we can create some little entryways into the fields, and also it would be nice to know that eventually, when we reach the point in game where we are expanding some of these fields and merging maybe some of them together, we won't have hedgerows in the way. Another thing I was thinking of doing, looking at the map, was having a bit of a drive round with the herbicide sprayer. Excuse me. To get rid of some of these weeds. But then what I figured was that actually the weeds aren't that bad, because there is a mod now which allows you to plant wild grass in game. Wild grass mod. I have it installed, and one of the things you can do with that, you can plant grass basically outside of fields, the wild stuff, and you can also choose to plant it so it's got like weeds and stuff in it to give it a bit more decoration. For the people who like to, you know, really go, you know, into the terraforming aspect of the game, that's great. Because I know currently there is on Steam especially, there's a beta version. You can enter into a beta to test the latest patch to the game. This and one of the things that apparently that beta has in it is a slight change to the landscaping, and Giants have actually added a grass texture. If you paint on the map, actually has grass. That's in 2nd stage growth already. So they've been listening to feedback from players who are like, it's nice that we've got the painting and landscaping tools, but you can't put grass down on the map without having to mess around painting a texture, ploughing, seeding, and then rollering. That was the only way to get grass to grow on an area, which is obviously a bit of a faff. So Giants have now given us a texture that we can paint ourselves, which has or should have grass. But I have not subscribed to the beta because I really ain't about trying beta versions of updates or patches. I'd rather wait for them to get all the bugs out of it and release the actual update proper before I sort of update. Plus there's no telling how it would play with mods, whether it would be cause any incompatibilities with any mods that I currently have installed and downloaded and things like that. Last thing I want to do is have to update loads of mods in my mod folder if the patch is incompatible, because I have a lot of mods in my mod folder, many of which I can't remember where I downloaded from, because I've got mods from here, there and everywhere. Wherever I've been able to find a mod that can do something that I want to do in game, I've downloaded it. And one of the mods I've added today into my mod list, which I haven't actually gone and checked yet, there should be a trailer, that's right kids, a trailer that has auto-loading, and people go, yeah, we've seen your auto-loading bale trailers before. Oh wait, this isn't an auto-loading bale trailer. Oh no, this is much more. Much more. There's a mod now that auto-loads pallets. Pallets, the one thing everyone's been crying out for quite a while. And the reason why I want to have downloaded that and want to give it a test at some point is because obviously I'm using the mod, or mods, that add purchasable pallets for eggs and wool. So when you're doing your animals, you get reusable pallets. So especially for the chickens, because nobody likes picking up all those little boxes by hand and faffing about, you can now actually have the eggs put into a pallet, which is obviously easier to move. But I want a auto-loading pallet trailer, because I don't want to be faffing about manually trying to put pallets onto trailers, because, you know, I've said it in my Estancia series, moving anything in this game by hand, using pallet forks, forklifts, telehandlers, wheel loaders, front loaders, etc. like that, is just a faff. Because of the physics in the game and the lack of viewing options, and the fact that you don't really get any kind of real depth perception if you're in first person view, loading and unloading pallets onto trailers or vehicles or whatever is a pain in the backside. I don't like to do it in this game at all, and you know, from someone who has been an actual forklift driver in real life, if I'm saying it's a pain, it's a pain. So yes, being able to auto load pallets would be fantastic. You could then, it offers up so many options. You can transport stuff from the store, you know, so much easier. And again, for people who do like animal farming, animal husbandry, you could, you know, transport pallets of like pig food, horse food, chicken feed, so much easier than the way you do it now, which is, like I say, it's a faff. The easiest way I found to do it was to basically buy a load of pallets at the store, drive a trailer down to the store and fill the trailer from the pallets by driving up to the pallets as close as you can, and basically hitting the fill button on the controller to basically fill the trailer, and then take the trailer back like at the tipper. That was probably the easiest way to transport stuff. But then you couldn't put it back into pallets from a tipper. You could dump it in a heap, but you wouldn't get it back into pallet form. You unloaded it, which is a bit of a shame. But certainly for transporting like pig food and stuff like that, it was great. One thing I might look for, if such a thing exists, again to help with like animal husbandry, would be to see if anybody has done a pallet of like total mixed ration for feeding cows. People who don't want to go through all the hassle of doing silage, making silage bales, and then doing hay and straw and putting into a mixing wagon to unload into the cows, because the game limits you to, like, as you saw in the Estancia series, the food mixer only holds 16,000 litres. And if you've got a lot of cows, they need hundreds of thousands of litres of TMR to fill up their need bar, which can take a long time mixing it by hand with the machine. Whereas, like you say, if you could buy pallets with a couple of thousand litres of TMR in, basically just transport pallets of the stuff from the shop to your cow area and feed the cows, that'll be great. So that's something I'll have to look for. Or if anybody knows if such a mod already exists where you can buy basically TMR in pallet form, or even if, you know, you can buy it from a silo, like you could actually have, like, a bit like I've got with the seed fertiliser stations. If you could get something like that for TMR where you can buy it from one of those and place that on your farm, obviously with the price set at such a point that you pay more for it than do it, you know, because of the convenience of having it on your farm, and taking into account the fact that obviously TMR requires silage, hay and straw. So factor that in based on the prices of what hay bales, straw bales and silage bales would cost you to purchase. That would be kind of cool. I would definitely have something like that on my farm placed if there was such a thing. I know there are like cheaty mods out there that allow you to do stuff like that. Have like feed stations for but the cheaty mods don't tend to have the pricing correct. Or they don't charge you anything for the stuff, which is a cheat. And like I say, I'm very against cheats. Blatant cheats I'm dead set against having in a series. If we have a quick look, because I know I've obviously got my fill stations that I love to use. They're pretty cool. And then there should be some more. There's the lime station. I have got one of those now at the top of the, up near the cows actually, up where the cow thing is. I've got one of those in place ready for when we have our spreader. Chicken food, yeah, horse food, lime, pig food, seed. They don't do one for cows, sadly. If they did one for TMR, that could be pretty useful. Something like that would be great. Something like that would be absolutely awesome. Right, probably going to time lapse now and get this field finished. So enjoy the funky music, the country music-y sort of songs that we tend to use in the Farming Sim series. and I'll see you guys back here in a few moments. Okay, so that's all the fields now ploughed. They all now, however, need to be lime sprayed. Okay, which is interesting. Like I say, we need to go get a lime spreader from somewhere. In the meantime, we will go put the plough away, as we're now done with this for the current period. And we're probably going to need that voucher. Ow. Okay, forgot this drop that off in there. Okay, so the field is now done for the time being. We'll go put him away. He's starting to look a little bit mucky, I won't lie. Done. Why have I got the dirt settings set to? Slow. Okay, that makes sense. Some contracts, but I'm not really in the mood to do contract work. Right, so lime spreading is going to be the thing we do. No, we're not going to use the voucher, are we? We decided we wasn't going to use the voucher. We was going to use our friend the case. Because it's a bigger tractor, it's got a bit more weight to it, it's got a front weight to it, which is going to be very beneficial. And hopefully that means that when we buy our spreader and we fill it up with lime, it won't cause the tractor to tip over. Right, we want I've had a look into this already. The Axis 40.2 would be ideal. However, it doesn't take fertiliser. Okay. Bradle's probably a little bit big for what we need for our fields. The Amazone would be pretty nice. A little bit small and basic. Obviously the big Bradle. The John Deere would be fantastic, but unfortunately probably not for this farm, this Let's Play series, because it's a little bit too big. Which leaves us with the Axis, the modded version, but from Stevie, which does support lime spreading. Change the colour up so we know that this is for lime spreading. So we are going to buy that. It's 19.5 grand, which is expensive, but the good thing about it is we own it. We own a spreader. Now I'm going to fill it up here to start with, because obviously we are right next to a lime station, so it makes perfectly good sense that we would probably load it up here to start with, and then we can go do our first fields. I would think it should have enough lime in it to do most of our fields in relatively short order. I shouldn't have to, well, it depends, because lime usage tends to be way higher than fertiliser usage, doesn't it, for the same area. And one of the things we're going to need to check on is working width. So okay, working width seems to be pretty good. In fact, it may actually be better than the it may actually be better than the Bradle that we used in the Estancia series. Right, we'll drive onto the field a bit more this time before switching it on. I'm not so good at spreading. Getting me widths and distances quite right is a challenge. Oh, missed a little bit. Kind of drove through the hedge, which is one of the reasons why, like I say, I am thinking quite seriously about having a go with the plough to see if right, we'll quickly just do the bit of mist and then we'll have a look at the other fields. And I love the fact that with the new dirt mod means your tyres show the lime picking up on them if you're driving over the lime area. I'm tempted to try something a bit different on this field. Just kind of work it top to bottom, can't we? Admittedly, we've got a bit there we need to go back and fill in. Oh, speedy seeding, spraying, spreading. Good. Quick splash here. Okay. Should be all of that. And like I say, you can see the lime pickup on the tyres, which then wears off the minute we go on to our regular land. Lime spreading is not actually that bad, I'll be honest. This spreader makes it kind of an easy job. Like one bit to do down the middle. ideal, isn't it, this? $940. Not going to be enough to do all our fields. Of course, then we're going to need to get the old cultivator going. Let's spread. I think it'll be perfect. I do. We'll have just enough, one tank of lime, it looks like, will do all of our fields. Currently, at their current sizes and expansions. Yeah, I'm impressed with this little spreader. Obviously, if our fields were much bigger, then oh, that was a bit of a bump. Putting a pathway round here past all this lot. $574 litres remaining. Should be enough. We'll see. And the big tray. Oh, not quite wide enough. Do the whole field in a couple of passes. Perfect. Nearly used our entire quota of lime, bar 156 litres. I want to get F. Part there. We're going to want the cultivator next then, aren't we? Good. There we go. Farm dog barking, but we don't have a farm dog yet. Right, so we're gonna have the lovely joys of cultivating. Poor old Delores. Do I want to use this? For now, I guess we do. I was thinking about getting that power harrow. But we technically don't need that until we need to plough again. Because then we could strap the power harrow on the back of the plough and kill all the birds with one stone. Let's do this in first person. The old cultivating ride around. Doing our little headland. What we'll do is we'll come from the top down. Then I haven't got to reverse through the hedge. On the one hand, it's a little bit frustrating doing this all yourself. It isn't, don't get me wrong, it's enjoyable, it's fun, but obviously in life, the game and life does tend to get a little bit easier when you are using workers. But honestly, it's a different experience altogether playing this for me. Like I say, I used workers pretty much all the time on the Estancia series. I pretty much was just a farm manager. I basically just told people what to do. It wasn't the only time I kind of got into trucks and did work myself was on harvest day to do the carting of crop, either to the silo or to the sell point. So actually getting in these tractors and stuff and doing the field work myself, the grunt work, is it's pretty cool. It's pretty fun. Not gonna lie. Maybe I'd appreciate having slightly bigger machinery to do this with, to just speed things up a little bit. But the map doesn't really allow for it currently. Does it? I'll do another strip across here, and I've got plenty of room then to when I come down. Not missing bits, which is always nice. Whoa! Slow down, Delores. So what I'll probably do, we'll probably get a couple of fields cultivated like this. And then I'll probably switch to a seeder. Get them seeded, and then we'll jump back on the cultivator. And finish off the other fields. Just so we've got some stuff growing. but not in such a way that it causes a problem for me to do the harvesting. Okay, there we are, 2 fields cultivated, and it's just gone 10 AM in the morning. Oh, you know what that means, don't you? That's tea break. That's snap time. Or it used to be, for anyone who remembers that good old tradition of having 10 o'clock tea time, tea break. Maybe it's just an English thing or a British thing. Gotta have your 10 o'clock tea break. Oh, sit down, have a snack, bite to eat, a sandwich or something, drink, and then you'd pick 15 minutes later you'd crack on and you'd go and do your you'd keep going then till lunch, till your 12:30s, till lunchtime at 12:30, and then you'd come in, you'd have your lunch, and then you'd get out on the thing, do a bit more work through the afternoon. Then at 3 o'clock you'd stop for your afternoon tea break, and again you'd have a bit of a snack, a bit more out your snack box if you still got anything left in your snack box. Then you'd have your another drink or something, and then you'd work through till home time, whatever time that would be. And I've had various different home times in my life, different jobs. Obviously my first job as an engineer, home time used to be 4:15 in the afternoon, or 3:45 once we switched to half-hour lunches instead of hours. And then on a Friday we'd finish at 3:15. Nice, unless you was obviously office staff, and then you'd be there till 5. You'd be 8:30 till 5 every day, which was not so great. I didn't mind the 3:45 and 3:15 finishing. From there I went obviously into the golf business, and that was a bit different because you started at 9:30 in the morning and you worked through till 6 o'clock in the evening. That was a bit different, a lot different. Following that I went into obviously then electrical retail, and that was just random because that was all funny shifts, funny hours all over the place. There was no rhyme or reason to that, so I never actually had tea breaks or lunch breaks in that job. For the 4 years that I did that, never had a break at all, or lunch break during any shift. Even when I was doing the 12-hour shifts, I never had a break or a tea break. And then after that obviously I went into my tech support job, and that was 8 o'clock till 8 AM till 5 PM Monday to Friday, which was an absolute pain in the backside. I would have preferred 8 AM till 4. And then you had an hour for lunch from 12 till 1, which wasn't brilliant because you was miles from anywhere, so you couldn't really do anything with your hour lunch, so I didn't like that. But we didn't get tea breaks or anything like that in that job, so you literally 4 hours do your lunch, and then you had to wait until you got home at night. Yeah, the good old days being in the trade. So we've cultivated these 2 fields. I'm now going to seed these 2 fields. And then I'll go back to the cultivator. I'll do another couple of fields, and I'll seed those. And basically working it this way, we will get to stagger our field growth and stuff, won't we? Oh, I'm missing bits. back and fill that in. Right, I'm going to do a strip across the bottom. Just so I've got a bit of leeway. I mean, 3 meters ain't much of a leeway, but gives me a bit of room to stop, doesn't it? It'll also give me a chance to see if the weeds pop in whilst I'm doing this. Shouldn't do, because we're on slow crop growth now. Shouldn't get anything randomly appearing whilst I'm doing this. You can never tell. You can never tell. Headland. One of the things that is difficult, it can be a bit difficult in certain angles and certain light to see where the cultivating finishes and where you should be running your next row. Probably explains why we have ridge markers. But again, I don't find them particularly all that helpful on a tool as small as this. But Delores is starting to get the hang of things. She's starting to pick up the tricks. Starting to get her muscle memory as far as driving all these tools and implements and that. We could definitely do with a wider seeder though. 3 meters is not cutting it. Seeder stroke planter, that's what we need. I haven't really looked in the store to see what options are available to us. I think there's a starer, isn't there? There's a starer, which is I think it's 3.6 meters wide, which is not a great improvement over this. An extra 300 mil either side, not really vastly different. Then there's a Great Plains 3 meter seeder, which isn't again an upgrade. However, it does direct planting, and it will fertilise as it seeds, which would be better than this. But we need to, if we're going to upgrade a seeder, we need to get something with a bit more width to it. I don't know if there's like whether there's something like a 6 meter would be great. I don't know if there's a 6 meter seeder, or whether they just start jumping up to crazy widths. And obviously, if we're going for an upgraded seeder, it's kind of got to be like this, where it's more or less directly attached to the back of the tractor. We don't want one that's on like a big trailer and drags a long way behind the tractor, because obviously that will make working these fields quite challenging. You very quickly run out of room. But I suppose you could work around that problem by either doing headlands first or headlands last. Thought I'd drop that down a little bit too late. Great big chunk of the field again. Seeding's difficult. When the seeder isn't any wider than your tractor, very difficult to get an overlap going. You end up missing bits. So yeah, Delores probably wants a bigger seeder on her wish list as things to get next, along with cultivator, maybe a little bit bigger or better than the one we're using at the minute. Okay, all done. As far as seeding those 2 fields goes, Delores will be able to jump back onto the cultivator. Turn that off. Before I had the mod installed that allows you to do the wild grass thingy-me-jiggy. Oh. So grass outside of fields, yes. Mix weeds to grass. Mix weeds to grass 10%, 20%. 20%, and I could plant grass everywhere, look. Well, that would be quite cool. So it's there, it does work. And we could put wild grass everywhere. But we don't want to do that. We want to sow some let's go for oats. Let's do some oats next on a couple of fields, because that way we can get some stuff stocked up ready for when we come to do our horses. So we are going to need a cultivator, unfortunately. Right. Delores has I need to park a little bit further away from the wall next time. Has cultivated. We've ploughed. We've cultivated 2 fields. And our next protocol will be to cultivate 3 and 6 and get them seeded, and then we'll cultivate and seed field 7. So that's what she's going to do next, and I'm going to do that off camera. So thank you everyone for watching this episode, this latest video in the series on the old family farm with Delores Flofflebotham. And again, Delores would ask that everyone please click that like button. Leave your questions, comments, suggestions, feedback, etc. for her to browse over and read in the section down below. And she also asks, if you're not doing already, go ahead and click the subscribe button to the channel. It helps her out immensely. So thank you everybody for watching. I'll be back with some more content very soon. But for now from me, it is goodbye.